But it really is a holistic approach. Every part of our lives is interconnected with every other part of our lives. And when you're with someone you trust, when you're with an ally that you can say absolutely anything to, and know that you're going to be respected, you're not going to be judged, suddenly possibilities open up, and you can find ways to fulfill your life in every area of your life.
Your message imparts all of these pieces so that someone can walk away from hearing you and feel like they've got at least a better understanding of what that means?
That's right. I like to say that when I give a talk like this, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm not going to tell you how to exercise. Okay. But I'm going to have a talk where I'm going to speak about how you can live your life in a way that's going to be healthy and well, and make the changes you need to make and make them last.
So you're still asking people to make their own choices?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's the only way it works. I always say people like their own ideas a lot better than they like mine.
I understand that.
Involved in the field of wellness since 1979, Dr. Arloski keynotes, consults, and trains with hospitals, companies, and spas around the world. Through his company, Real Balance Global Wellness Services, he seeks to be of service to those who want to take leadership in pursuing a healthier world for all. And without further ado, I present Mike Arloski.
All right. Again, you get to decide what satisfaction means here. You could be a monk or a nun and give it a 10 because you are truly satisfied. Being celibate and living this life, and that is very satisfying to you. However, if you just feel like you're living like a monk or a nun, you might want to give it a little lower rating. You know, if that's not really what your intention is. What are we doing to help people who are already healthy remain healthy?
Helping people to accept this is a major first step. If you're dealing with a client or a customer or someone or a staff member who wants to blame other people for everything, play the victim, it's going to be a hard time having them to heal.
Much of the healthcare crisis that they're facing really has to do with diseases and problems that are really related to how people live their lives. When I coach people, I am there to help them hold themselves accountable to themselves. Nobody's accountable to me. It's their life.
Sometimes we say, well, gee, you know, if I just have the most wonderful medical care in the world, then I'll be healthy and well. That's only about 10% of the equation. Now, the environment has a big factor. You know, if we're in a very stressful and crowded environment, if we're breathing polluted air, if we're exposed to toxic chemicals, that's certainly something that can impact our health in a very profound way.
And if we know that over half of what determines the health of a population is the lifestyle choices that they make, then helping them with their lifestyle is one of the best things that we can do. I really got very excited about how behavioral it was, how really being healthy and well was so much about our choices, so much about the way we think, about the way we feel about ourselves. So to me, it wasn't just diet and exercise. It was so much more. You know, we always hear that when people get to a ripe old age, they very seldom say, you know, I should have danced a whole lot less. I should have spent less time with my children and taken fewer hikes. I should have traveled less and told people that I love them less often. No, we don't hear them say that, do we? We hear just the opposite. We hear all too often regrets.
Really, it sounds like almost everyone would benefit from this message. You talk about living a well-balanced life. What exactly is that?
Well, you know, we can get very complex answers to that. And something I really enjoy is synthesizing things down to just what's really essential, what's really important. And what I've really kind of come up with is the idea that living a balanced life is about living your life very consciously, where you're really making choices that you're very aware of. It's living your life responsibly, and by that I mean you get it, that you are primarily responsible for your own health. It's also about living your life sustainably. Can you live your life the way you're living your life in a sustainable fashion? Is it going to work for you in the long run? Is it going to give you the nourishment that you need?
Okay. It's not just the here and now.
Right. And how is that really going to play out in the long run? And the other thing, it's living your life in connectedness. That is, feeling connected to other people, to the world around you, to nature, to your environment, to your community, feeling connected to your sense of spirituality, whatever that may be. It's really that sense of connectedness and developing the support systems that are going to help you to sustain that change over a long period of time.
But I'll tell you, if you do nothing else, if you just totally 100% eliminate assumptions from your life will radically change.
What we're talking about there is balance. You know, if you ask some people why they live a healthy lifestyle, why they bother to take the time and energy that it takes to live a life that's really in balance, they'll tell you that they're doing it in order to avoid becoming ill. They don't want to become ill before their time. They want to enjoy life. So they do these things to prevent illness. They'll tell you they don't want to end up like somebody they know and love who came down with some kind of major health problem, some kind of challenge that may have even taken their lives. Well, fear is a good motivator to start with, but it's not one that lasts. How about a motivation from inside of you that really can last? A motivation that's more about living a really extraordinary life. I like to really urge people to live a balanced lifestyle so that you can live a really extraordinary life. One that's fulfilling, one that's rich, one that's powerful, one that's the best life you could imagine. If you've got the kind of lifestyle that nourishes you, that nurtures you, that allows you to be healthy and well, you can live the kind of life that you really want to live. You can do the kinds of things that give you joy, that really help you enjoy life to its fullest. To me, that's a really great reason to live a balanced life. When I'm out there being active the way I like to be, it feels really good. Just the intrinsic reward alone is powerful.
When you're presenting to a group and you want them to understand where you're coming from with wellness, how do you get their attention?
Health is part of everyone's life. We may ignore it a lot of the time. We may, just try to speed on by without it. But it has a way of grabbing a hold of us and getting our attention every once in a while, whether it's just coming down with the flu and having something that's inconvenient, or whether it's a close friend of ours or a relative getting deathly ill or having a major health challenge. So it's a topic everyone is connected to. It's also a topic that is extremely timely because how we manage healthcare costs is a real challenge all around the world.
Correct. Everything from small companies to our major corporations.
Exactly. There's a wonderful old story that has lessons for us today in this modern age. It's a story we call The People of the Waterfall. Long ago, there were some people that lived at the base of a giant waterfall. And they lived there in a very idyllic situation until one day someone came floating over the waterfall, crashed into the rocks in the water below. Right away, the people jumped in to save them. They swam out there, risked their lives doing it, hauled them to shore, and brought them back to consciousness. Next thing they knew, someone else was coming over the waterfall. And once again, they had to jump into the cold water, swim out and rescue them. This kept happening, people washing down over this waterfall of this great river. They brought them ashore to clinics that they had built, and it never seemed to make any difference. People kept coming over the waterfall. Well, the response was to just build more clinics, build a hospital, build a bigger hospital. You know how hospitals are always building all the time anyway, right? Well, the same was true there. They were just getting ready to fund an even bigger hospital at the base of the waterfall to deal with these people that just kept coming over, when finally somebody said, wait a minute, Shouldn't we go upstream and see why they're falling in? Well, that was the moment that someone thought of prevention. How much of our healthcare system today is based on prevention? I think if you look at the stats, you'll find it's very little. Treating those problems was important, but going upstream might pay off even bigger. And not just to prevent yourself from floating over a waterfall, but to really live a healthy, well-lived life, a fulfilling life.